these are women who introduced me to other women. My girlfriend, when I met her, there were 4 girls in a bar. We were in Mexico at a competition, and they all texted me like, she's here, like, because they knew I liked this one girl.
Right.
And so they introduced me to her, and until I got to the bar, they're bragging about me the whole time.
Yeah, I want to talk about social circles.
Yeah.
So how did you learn how to build your social circle? Like, you have this big social circle, you teach men, even women, how to build these social circles with celebrities and elites of the world. Like, walk us through how you develop those skills.
For me, it started from dating. So I'm going to be honest with you, I was a confused 20-something-year-old. I used to work in a nightclub, and while I was working there, it was very clear to me, because there was a lot of pretty girls that worked at this place, cocktail servers, bartenders, whatever, and it was very clear to me that I would see these girls fighting over the same worthless dude. And then I would see the guy who was rich, upstanding, and like he's getting cheated on, and I was like, what is the thing that I'm missing here that like maybe my family, the church, and the media is not telling me about the dynamics between men and women? And I started to pay attention to guys who were actually really good with women, and stop listening to guys reading like John Gray's Men Are From Mars, Women From Venus. I'm sorry, if he went to, that guy would get stomped on if he went to a nightclub. That's not going to work.
Right.
But like the thing is, I would sit there and I would see what actually worked as opposed to what people were writing. And then I started noticing a couple things. Dr. Buss talks about this in his book, Evolution of Desire. Throughout history, men who had networks with other men always had more access to resources than women than any other men. And I was like, okay, what is this proclivity for us to love this thing? And we watch the World Cup and we watch the Super Bowl. What are we watching? We're watching groups of men coming together to accomplish goals. And then I started to realize it's like, no, networking is an adaptation that humans have had in order to survive. Consider, humans are the top, we're the apex predator on the planet.
On the food chain,
on the food chain. We're the apex predator. At what point did we become the apex predator? Now we have nukes and F-15s. That's way before that. It's probably the point at which Homo sapiens started throwing spears overhand. At that point, when you consider it, humans are an apex predator above lions, tigers, and bears, but no one human is going to kill a lion, a tiger, or a bear without a firearm. And so how did that happen? It was teams of humans working together with facial expressions and vocal language in order to kill the lion or tiger or bear to gain protein to go feed the tribe or to get rid of predation, to get rid of predators that were threats. So that whole idea of men and women working together in a teamwork fashion is what made us the top of the food chain. So obviously that adaptation could cause us to accomplish things like all the guys who work here at 7th level, all of you coming together as a team. There's no feeling that I enjoy better than my team working together in order to create something.
Succeeding.
So what I do is, like I said before, I solve problems for other people and then I try to work with them. And what happens is, as a team, it's just more fulfilling. But here's the other thing that happens. Now it's like when I want to talk to if I want to get someone on my podcast, I'll hit up Dan Fleischman or hit up someone, and they'll just be like, "Yeah, man, for sure." I'll
just like I referred to like a bunch of like behavioral scientists.
Max Major came on my podcast because
some body language experts. I could give you like 300 people like tomorrow.
And we connect one another. Now, here's the thing that happens. Number one, you become more trustworthy in that group. It's really weird thing, man. People trust. This is called mere exposure effect in psychology. This concept where you trust people who are in your tribe, but they aren't even trustworthy people. You trust them because you see them every day. You see them with billboards and like celebrities selling cryptocurrency. That's the whole FTX scam.
You trust Tom Brady because he was on a billboard.
Because we saw him every Sunday throwing 4 touchdowns.
So
that's why we trust it. We have no reason. I'm not saying anything bad about Tom Brady, but
Tom's a stud.
We have no reason inherently to trust Tom Brady, but we did because he was famous and we saw him on a billboard. So it's like, okay, what is this thing? Like, I want to unlock this and then figure out how to use this as far as social status. It's funny, Oren Klaff talks about status also. In
status framing. He studies social dynamics. That's what I went to school for. So rank framing, because like how do you rank people? So like, let's say you lived in the Polynesian Islands 1,000 years ago. I mean, right now we're ranked by wealth, like I said, followers and fame. But let's say I lived in the Polynesian Islands 1,200 years ago. My rank in my area might be based on the tribal tattoos.
Tribal tattoos.
That's how I was ranked, right?
There's certain Polynesian societies where they were whale hunters. Well, whale hunter, the guys they would stand on the edge of the boat and they would throw spears at the whales. Being shorter actually made you a better whale hunter.
So you're probably higher status.
This is a one weird society where men who were taller actually weren't cherished as much. Shorter men who brought home massive amounts of protein, massive amounts of substance for the tribe. They were the ones who were actually higher status. Exactly.
The best hunters.
So Now, going back to what we said before, now here's the other thing that happens. So because I am irrationally trusting people that I see over and over again, mere exposure effect, there's this other irrational thing that happens, and that is that women are attracted to men who other women are attracted to.
Really?
To some extent, it is rational. If I see a woman that I'm attracted to, I have what's called perfect information. I can tell by certain signs that I look at her physical appearance, I am interested at least taking this further.
Sure.
Not sure I want to have kids with her, and I'm not sure I want to marry her, but I do know I want to go on a date with her. I know that I would go do that because of her physical appearance. I hope at least our audience has gotten to the point where we don't believe this nonsense. Like, obviously, men are more interested in women's physical appearance than the other way around.
Sure, yeah.
That's the first thing. But what happens then is, like, now when she looks at me, she has imperfect information. Am I a stalker, a weirdo? Do I smell funny?
Yeah,
Am I
she's
terrible in
framing
bed?
it. She's framing
But she
it
doesn't
based
know
on what she sees.
Now, if we go look at dating apps, women find 80% of men on dating apps to be below average attractiveness. They're not attractive. Only 20% they consider to be attractive, and only 4.5% they consider so attractive that they would like make a move. Right? Yeah. So what is this? Well, now most men are unattractive. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And she has incomplete information. Yeah. How can she get as much information as possible in the shortest way possible?
If you're another beautiful
women around. So what I teach.
Your higher status.
Yeah, what I teach in my program, because a lot of my guy friends are like, well, the guys in the program, they're like, well, I don't have a bunch of women who are attracted to me. I was like, then make female friends.
Yeah.
And so from the dating space over the last 15 years, men and women being friends was anathema. People hated this idea. I was getting crucified since '08 for telling people, guys, you want to meet women? Have a ton of female friends. Have a ton of female wingmen. My two biggest wingmen, CJ Sparks and Kylie Myers, they're both playmates. They're both published playmates. Okay. And then another one, my friend Kaylin Franco, she owns a modeling agency.
Sure.
We go out, and then another friend of mine, Sierra Nowak, she got me, she's the reason I'm the host of Swimsuit USA's World Championship.
Yeah.
These are women who introduced me to other women. My girlfriend, when I met her, there were 4 girls in a bar. We were in Mexico at a competition, and they all texted me like, she's here, like, because they knew I liked this one girl.
Right.
And so they introduced me to her, and until I got to the bar, they're bragging about me the whole time.
Yeah.
Women.
Raising your status right there.
Well, female friends do 3 things.
Yeah.
Number 1, they get you access to wherever you want to go. Like I'm going to, Ty Lopez has his mastermind next month, the 27th, the 28th. The 28th is a party, and Itzel, his assistant, I was like, can I bring girls? And he's like, bring as many girls as you want, right? Yeah. So number 1, they get you access to certain things.
Okay.
Number 2, they make you calibrated. If I were to, if you have a guy who has very little experience with women, maybe for religious reasons, or he's just an awkward dude, and I put him around his dream girl, even though they're a perfect match, he's so fucking weird when he talks to her. He doesn't know what to do. Yeah. But on top of that, his pupils dilate, his palms get sweaty, and his voice cracks. Yeah. How do we get him used to that? Well, how do you, the first time you jump out of an airplane, you're freaking out. If you were to jump out of an airplane 10 times in one day, by the last time you'd have such adrenaline fatigue, you wouldn't even care. You wouldn't even, you'd just, I'm jumping out, you just roll out of the airplane. You wouldn't even care. Well, if you're around beautiful women constantly, I've heard women remark to me, they're like, I come up to you in a bikini and you don't even look at my boobs. Like
because you're acting detached.
So used to seeing them.
Because men are all these types, like, oh, you look so hot, you're so beautiful, and they're just like, ugh.
So you've seen Ray Lewis before they go out and play football, the pregame speech where he's like, no weapon formed against, and he's screaming. I do the same thing at you'll see it tomorrow at my bikini competition. I do the same thing at my contest. Everybody gets in the middle, and I'm like, we're about to make some fucking money, and the girls start screaming. And they're like, this guy's treating me like a normal human being.
Like a friend.
I'm so used to being around them that their beauty doesn't affect me, which makes me look higher status
and
to them.
You're actually putting them almost in the friend zone where it actually makes you more attractive
I am
them.
exactly putting them in the friend zone. In fact, you skipped ahead. Spoiler alert. Yes.
I know this.
I put every woman I meet in the friend zone. Yeah. That's what I do. And then when Sunday night, I'm taking like 20 girls to go see Skrillex at XS. Okay. They're going to be competing for my attention. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. And I'm not hitting on any of them. So first thing I said before, they get you access. Number 2, they make you calibrated. Number 3, beautiful women or women in general introduce you to other women. If you're a cool guy, women are going to want to introduce you to your friends. A lot of my close female friends are married, but they still want to they want to play Cupid. They want to hook you up. And so this concept, now look at that. Now all of a sudden I'm backstage at a fucking conference I'm not supposed to be backstage at. Right. They're introducing me to people I'm not supposed to know. Yeah. I have this one female friend of mine. This girl's been engaged like 7 times, twice to like a billionaire. Okay. She ends up never getting married. Yeah. And like I would never date this girl because I can tell she's trouble. She's nothing but red flags. But every time we go out, she's introducing me to some incredibly wealthy guy. Yeah. And we've never even touched. She's like my sister. Yeah. And it's like, they're the best networkers I've ever met. Yeah. Beautiful women are incredible networkers.
It's so